Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. It is Julie here with your TipRanks pre-market morning update, where we're bringing you everything you need to know before the market opens. So let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back and thank you so much for being here. This morning, we'll be taking a look at exciting stock market news, notable earnings reports, and the morning's biggest gainers and losers. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and that you're subscribed to the channel as well. Just a reminder that we will not be doing our Friday market recap live stream this afternoon, as I am out of the country and with time changes, we just have a little bit of a scheduling conflict, but we'll be back at it next week. All right, let's get right into this morning's exciting stock market news. U.S. stock futures are edging higher this morning as investors await hearing from the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium later this morning. Currently, the Dow futures are up 0.24%, while the S&P 500 futures are up 0.3% and NASDAQ futures up 0.35%. Apple has reached a tentative settlement in an App Store lawsuit. This will allow developers new flexibility on how they work with the company's App Store. Among other things, Apple agreed that developers have the right to tell customers how they can pay for apps outside of the App Store, enabling developers to avoid paying Apple commissions in some circumstances. The agreement comes amid growing scrutiny of Apple's substantial commission revenue from the App Store and the company's strict rules on how developers can generate revenue from their applications. Coming in as a moderate buy, the average upside potential for Apple comes in at about 10%. Electric truck startup company Lordstown Motors has appointed a new CEO, Daniel Ninivaggi, effective immediately. Their shares were up nearly 18% yesterday as Ninivaggi takes over from board chair Angela Strand, who ran the company after the departure of Steve Burns in June. Burns had left shortly after the company received a going concern warning from its auditor. That warning essentially meant the company might not have the capital required to keep operating without a significant change. Ninivaggi is the former CEO of Akan Enterprises and has served in a variety of senior leadership positions in the automotive and transportation industries. Coming in as a moderate sell, the ride stock has some widely varying price targets. We have one buy rating with a over 200% upside potential, and the most recent sell rating comes in with a downside of 84%. Now, moving over to some notable earnings reports. Starting off with Peloton, who said that they plan on slashing the price of their bike following a wider than expected quarterly loss. They'll be lowering the price of their flagship bike to $1,495 from $1,895. Memberships will still cost $39.99 a month. Nearly a year ago, the price of their bike was lowered by $350 when they launched their higher-end Bike Plus. Peloton also reported a net loss of $1.05 per share, when analysts were expecting a loss of just 44 cents per share. Their sales of $937 million did come in ahead of the estimates of $928 million. Peloton reported an adjusted EBITDA loss of $45 million, slightly less than the $46 million analysts were expecting. The company is expecting sales of $800 million in the first fiscal quarter, which is well below the $1 billion that analysts had previously forecasted. Their stock is currently rated a moderate buy with an average upside of 14%. Cloud application company WDAY came in with strong second quarter results. Both their revenue and earnings came in ahead of analyst expectations as the company benefits from digital acceleration. Quarterly revenue grew over 18% year over year to $1.26 billion, beating the estimates of $1.24 billion. Subscription revenue was up 19.5% year over year to $1.11 billion. Their diluted net income per share landed at $1.23, above the estimates of just 78 cents. According to their co-CEO, their Q2 represented one of the strongest quarters in the company's history as the customer community grew to more than 55 million users. Analysts currently rate their stock a moderate buy with an average upside potential of 18%. Also coming in with better than expected second quarter results was the Burlington Coat Factory. However, their shares plunged 9% after they warned about some supply chain disruptions. The company reported adjusted earnings of $1.94 per share, much higher than the street's estimates of $1.38. Moreover, their total revenue climbed 118% to $2.21 billion, surpassing analyst estimates of $2.05 billion. Their CEO, though, said that the environment remains uncertain and the trend is difficult to predict. We're seeing a huge imbalance between supply and demand in global logistics systems. This is driving up freight and supply chain expenses, and it will put a significant pressure on our margins for the balance of the year. Analysts still rate the stock a strong buy with an average upside potential of 17%. And we also heard from Dollar General, whose Q2 results were lower when looking year over year, but did come in ahead of analyst expectations. Net sales declined 0.4% year over year to $8.7 billion, but did surpass the consensus estimates of $8.56 billion. Their same-store sales were down 4.7% year over year due to reduced customer traffic. Their earnings per share of $2.69, which was a decrease of 13.8% year over year, topped estimates of $2.55. Their CEO did say, "We feel very good about the underlying strength of the business, and we're excited about our plans for the second half of fiscal 21. Their stock is currently rated a strong buy with an average upside just over 10%. The rest of Friday is fairly quiet for earnings reports. We're expecting to hear from Big Lots and Hibbett Sports. Coming up on Monday, we'll be hearing from Li Auto, Cloudera, and Zoom Communications. Now let's take a look at which stocks are this morning's biggest gainers and losers. Our biggest gainers this morning are led by Bill.com Holdings. Under the ticker BIL, they're currently up over 15%. Followed by The Gap under GPS, they're up nearly 9%. And Ubiquity Networks under the ticker UI, up 7.5%. Our biggest losers this morning are led by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Under the ticker OLLI, they're down nearly 14%. Followed by the Weibo stock under WB, down over 8%, and Peloton Interactive under PTON, down 7.5%. So that'll be everything for Friday's pre-market morning update, getting you up to speed with what you need to know before that opening bell. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button and say good morning in the comments down below. I always love hearing from you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back here next time.